YokalSports.com has sent me, Yokal Army member Charlie Pappas, out to help save the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm David Graham. I am the principal of Elna Swenson Graham Architects. I'm a resident of the city of Minneapolis, and the whole premise of my career in architecture is about city building and a passion for creating more livable, sustainable cities.
I started in development on the warehouse district back in the late 1980s, creating the first Guthrie on the river, Guthrie Laboratory Theater, which was the recycling of historic properties along the riverfront. And I've done projects with the Minnesota Opera, did Open Book down here in this neighborhood on Washington, and have done a lot of loft projects in the warehouse district. And when I was doing the loft projects is when the Target Field proposal was first floated, and got behind that as part of the city building effort, that was going to be important to the fabric of entertainment in this area. And that has been a huge success, I think, by anybody's measurements, and has shown the strength and the wisdom of compact-oriented, urban-oriented, transit-oriented development.
So the whole framework within which we're working as volunteers on creating another vision for the Vikings Stadium is framed within the idea of building strong cities. The City of Minneapolis Plan for Sustainable Growth calls for high-density, transit-oriented entertainment, housing, and commercial activities. So from any practical business model, bipartisan approach to business, I believe that creating a new stadium, if there is going to be one in the city, is the place to be.
Why should Minneapolis build a stadium for the Vikings?
Like it or not, any Class A city, if Minneapolis wants to be on the roadmap, you need these professional teams. So I think it's symbolic and philosophical. And I do believe that there's a significant economic impact in terms of restaurants, commercial activity that really makes cities vibrant. We're adding residential population to downtown Minneapolis, and I think that keeping the stadium in the city, in the state, does add economic vitality. But I think it's also a pride thing and a bragging rights, and if we lost the Vikings, I think it would be a loss of heritage and culture to the state.
Tell us about the proposal for the farmers market.
Part of this larger vision for the area around Target Field, it was always more than a ballpark. So if it worked for the ballpark, why wouldn't it work for a stadium? In fact, the stadium would help support the ballpark and vice versa. And one of the chief assets down here is the energy center, which used to be known as the garbage burner. But now we know better than that. It's a great source of energy, and Target Field tapped into that in a way. They've used the gray water from the excess water from the energy center in a lot of their operations. There was a proposal at one time to heat the seating with heat coming from the energy center. Some of those ideas were too experimental at the time, weren't realistic enough, but I'm thinking that one of them, and not just me, but many folks have been thinking about the opportunity to use this energy center as the energy source for a new Viking stadium. And just think about us as a region, as a state, as sort of a beacon, not just nationally, but internationally. If we were able to congregate these uses using a sustainable energy source for these wonderful professional venues.
I also serve on the Lowry Hill Neighborhood Association, and for example, the park board was thinking of investing $6 to $7 million to create a new youth center at the parade, which is essentially across the street. Why not use the new stadium as the People's Stadium to create a gateway to Minneapolis from the north side? You got the Van Wyck Boulevard coming through. Why not use this stadium as more than just a stadium, but rather a community amenity feature for the youth of the city? They could use it as a place for recreation and other activities.
Why is the farmer's market the best proposal?
Because it builds on the existing assets that we've already got. We've made billions of dollars of public investment in this area, and we should build on those. If we've got another $1 billion investment, which you always want in real estate. I mean, your cardinal rule, whether it's buying a house for yourself or whether it's a business locating, is location, location, location. This is the 100% location in Minneapolis, we believe, because it builds on all the right assets, and the public then is going to benefit from the dividends that it's going to give, and that it's going to yield over time.
The farmer's market, which is currently there, they're looking for a permanent and stable home. We see the synergisms between creating this new stadium works hand in glove with the farmer's market. They have synergisms, offsetting uses. We can create a new farmer's market plaza, a tailgating area. And during the winter, what we see as a new phenomenon is farmers markets selling all season. So this stadium architecture could be a living, breathing fabric part of the city. The problem with football stadiums is they go dormant 95, 98% of the time. So this idea of a living wall where the farmers market could literally utilize some of the walls of the stadium for seasonal sales of products. I know St. Paul's doing a farmer's market that we worked on. So again, for me, it's urban design, city building. You can build it from there. The freeway infrastructure is in place. LRT, billions of dollars of investment is in place and expanding. Parking infrastructure is in place. And the vision that we have for this stadium is bigger than the stadium. It's about connections. It's about creating pedestrian, public realm benefits that would connect from the surrounding neighborhoods, from the north side, and along this notion of a pedestrian, our version of a high line that could actually connect the proposed stadium to the Twins ballpark to create a larger fabric of interconnected pedestrian movement.
How do we get this done?
Assuming that some legislation were passed early in 2012, my guess is that within the year you could get the site assembly completed, you could do your planning, and you could start construction probably in 2013. And it would probably take 2 years to build the facility.
Correct, right. The hard construction can be done in 2 years. Some assembly required. You've got the land assembly. It is clean. The ballpark has proven that it can be done fairly quickly. And so the biggest hurdles are just the policies and the public decision making.
Well, you want these dollars spent quickly as possible. If we're going to have a strong effect on this economy, we want those dollars going in and people getting jobs and getting paid as quickly as we possibly
We
can.
have found that what takes the longest is what we're doing right now. Is the entitlement and the talk. I give you the bridge that collapsed in Minneapolis. When motivated, things were done that they bet against in Las Vegas. That bridge was built ahead of schedule.
1 year.
1 year. And the contractor, innovation left unleashed, can do amazing things. Get out of the way and let us build